everyone. Welcome to Built and Branded, a podcast by Golden Hour Co Digital Agency. I'm your host, Danielle Perea, and today we're here for episode 3 called Sold in Vegas. It's super exciting. I have 3 friends with me here who are all in real estate in literally one of the largest and fastest growing markets in the United States. It's Las Vegas. So we're going to go ahead and do our intros. Let's start with Aaron.
So, Aaron Price. I am a real estate agent with Simply Vegas. I've been licensed now for, this is my 5th year. And born and raised in Vegas, been here my whole life. So, excited to kind of dive deep into selling real estate in Las Vegas.
I am Julia. I am a real estate agent with Wardley Real Estate under the Hakens Group. And I've been in Vegas for about 8 years now. I moved straight here from the Philippines, and then I was like, Vegas is my home. I want to help other people make it their home too, you know?
All right. So thank you for inviting us to your podcast. I am Espen Hild. I'm kind of newer to this business. I do commercial real estate. I'm a broker for MDL Group here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And yeah, I'm basically graduating as we film this podcast. I graduate UNLV on Saturday. So that's pretty exciting.
Congrats.
Yes.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm getting my BSBA in real estate, which is a thing, and a minor in finance. So that's kind of the typical route for a lot of commercial brokers. And yeah, that's kind of how a little intro about myself.
Yeah.
All right, so first question. Oh my goodness. We're starting off strong. So what's one thing that you guys believed about real estate before you got your license turned out completely wrong?
I guess we'll start with me. Honestly, just from social media, TV shows, and anything you saw online, you think that you sell real estate and you're just going to make so much money immediately off the bat. But real estate's tough, so I learned quickly it's going to take time to get paid and to really understand the business.
Right? Like, I follow Sirhan on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody does,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Yeah.
Netflix, it's like, oh my God, it's so glamorous life. And I mean, even me, before I started my marketing agency, I actually had a real estate license. I did not do anything with it because I was like, oh, this is hard.
It is definitely
It was
tough.
so glamorized. And then I was like, nope. Never mind. We'll go the alternative route. We'll just do what I love and then go with that. But I really saw it as a path, you know. But
It's tough. It's a grind.
it is
You
with
really,
anything.
Yeah, you really got to learn yourself. It's not just sales. It's like
Yeah.
you're selling yourself, but you have to be able to figure out the problem and solve it, for one. So the money that you may potentially be making is not just that. There's a lot that goes into understanding what does it take to sell real estate.
Julia, you're a relatively new agent.
Yeah.
Just got your license when in December.
Yeah, like towards the end of December.
So what's something that you've already seen right off the bat that's not what you thought it would be?
Well, like on a not technical basis, like more on like a general stance, I guess. I really thought that real estate was about sales. I thought it was a sales job. It's really not. It's about people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People business.
Yeah. It's really a people business, and it's like you can know all the techniques, read all the books, but like if people can't feel a connection with you and they don't feel like you actually care, they're not going to trust you with the biggest life decision, biggest purchase they're possibly going to make in their life, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, you both are residential, and Espen is more retail commercial. So is there anything that they haven't already mentioned that's different in your space?
Oh, there's totally so much. I mean, going back on the salesperson part, like our licenses, especially in Nevada, say NV salesperson or broker salesperson. So you see that right away and people think, oh, you're salespeople, but I don't feel like I work in sales at all. It's very much like commercial in particular is very analytical. It feels almost like a finance job. I honestly feel like I kind of work in finance in a way.
Yeah.
Especially if you go into sales and then leasing too. It's very strategic. So when you think of sales, you know, I don't really think of, you know, real estate, you know, now that I've worked in it.
Yeah.
But going back with the Sirhan thing, he was kind of who inspired me to go into real estate in the first place.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, growing up, I was like, all right, I want to go into business. I was like, what type of business should I go into? And obviously, you know, I listen to Ryan Sirhan's all his podcasts and
Yeah.
I have his books and everything. So I was like, oh, I want to be like that guy, selling luxury real estate. I thought New York was probably too big for me. You know, I grew up in small towns. You know, I was born in Reno, and then I lived in Oregon for 9 years, and then moved to Mesquite, Nevada in 2018. But
Oh, wow.
yes,
Tell
but
us about that.
oh yeah,
Small town.
very small town. You know, 20,000 people, but you know, I still go there every weekend. You know,
Really?
yeah, I go see my parents, but.
That's nice.
Yeah, but just, you know, we drove by Vegas for the first time, and I was like, you know, Vegas is cool, you know, but I was never going to come here like when it's the summer. But after seeing the bright lights, I was like, oh, I kind of want to do something in Vegas. And then kind of since I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I've always liked Legos and that sort of stuff. And I was like, all right, I know I want to go into some sort of real estate, something that's tangible. That's the part I love most about this business. And kind of seeing, all right, maybe I want to become a developer. Well, how to become a developer? I was like, oh, well, just become a broker and be like Sarahan. And then, you know, kind of learn. Obviously, now that I've done it, it's definitely a different path, you know.
Yeah.
But I would say real estate's a lot more like analytical and finance driven, especially in the commercial side of things. And it's very relationship driven as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really, I don't feel like a sales job.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, Aaron hit the nail on the head. He was like, it is not what Instagram says it is.
No. It's a real deal. It's emotions and people and things that are going on in their life, and they need you and they lean on you to problem solve. If it's moving and relocating from a different place, or someone may be sick and they want to move from a 2-story to 1-story, and you have to figure out what's going to alleviate the problem that they have. So not so much sales, like I'm just going to make a commission. There's a lot to it with who your clients are and what you're trying to solve.
So walk me through your first deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, first deal. So kind of a backstory. I got into real estate from a mentor, and my mentor had some friends that wanted to buy some new construction in Summerlin. And I didn't know anything about Summerlin. There's so many communities, there's so many fees and SIDS and LIDs and 1 HOA and 2 HOA and square footage, and it was just so much. I didn't know what I was doing. But to say the least is that it was a challenge because I didn't know anything, but thankfully I figured it out along the way. And that's kind of like real estate. It's like you have to fall forward and learn as you go. So there were two people. They wanted to buy an investment property, townhouse, and rent it out. And I didn't even know anything about rent. So I was like, yeah, you can rent it out. And then like, yeah, but what's my mortgage versus rent? And I was like, couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I don't know what your mortgage is. I don't know what your rate is. I don't know what you can rent it out for. So it was a learning process, but we ended up getting it closed. And then also something funny is you have to do a home inspection before you close, right? And kind of like this table, there's a middle island in the townhouse, and one of the islands was crooked. It was sideways.
Oh, no.
So my clients asked me, he's like, what do we do? And I'm like,
I
don't know. I know as much as you know. I have no idea. So we talked to the builder. The builder ended up giving them a credit for it because they measured both sides to make sure the distance between one side of the island to the countertop and then the other side of the island to the same countertop, was definitely off. So they gave my client like a $10K credit, and they gave him a free water
good.
sophener. So,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's nice.
you know what I mean? I was like, that's a win. Yeah, I don't know how much
water
that is,
softener.
but that's a win. So it was a challenge, but they still own it now. They still rent it out, and it's doing well.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, that was the first deal.
What's your favorite deal so far? You have anything to talk
yeah,
about?
my land deal. I just sold a piece of land in Ascaya for
Dream.
$2,150,000. It was listed at 2.5, and then we negotiated. So it was fun to learn about the process of working with the builder, understanding land, talking about caliche rock and how far down they can dig, and what's the height requirement for the build, and understanding like views and neighbors, and there's a lot that go into buying land to understand it in that price point, because it's not just, hey, I'm going to buy this piece of land and put a house on it. There's a lot as far as return on investment when you go to resell it, how far up the mountain you might be, who's the builder, what's the architectural plans, what's the time frame. There's a lot that goes into it. So it's a fun deal to learn a lot more now and have a good understanding of real estate, and not just be like, dirt, yeah, let's go sell some dirt,
No, yeah. I mean, we live right down the road from Ascaya and on Horizon, and I'm always looking at it. I'm like, gosh, that's a dream.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
A dream. But I always wonder. I'm like, are they? I feel like they're already sold out.
No, not fully.
Not fully, almost.
You can. The thing about a sky is you can buy in there, and then you don't have to build. But once you do start building, it's I think a 13 to 14 month process. Wow. So people who buy the land, a lot of times just sit on it. Someone bought land that my client's interested in. They bought it in 2018 for $825,000, and then 5 years later they sold it for 2.15. So it's crazy that how much money you can get back on some dirt. But it's just it's in the eyes of who's building and what's the possibility that you can do with it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Julia, to walk me through your first deal?
So I actually got my very first listing the day I got my license.
There you go.
Didn't have
there you go.
I didn't have it printed out yet or anything. It wasn't sent to my brokerage or anything. Like I literally just checked online and it said, I think it said like active print, something like that, like in parentheses. And then I was like, forget it. Like I'm just gonna tell this client that like I can help them. Yeah,
swing
and then
just swing
like
it.
I did say that like, oh, I'm actually waiting for my license right now. I am a realtor, and sorry, I didn't even mention they were an estate sale client. Yeah, so they asked me to do an estate sale for them, and then they were actually from California. They're from San Diego, and then they asked me to do an estate sale for their mom's house. And then they were like, we're not from there. Do you know any good real estate agents? And I was like, you know what?
Me.
Just take the
chance. No,
I can do it. I can do it.
That's literally how it went. And then I was like, oh, I actually work with a brokerage. I didn't say I was an agent because I wasn't allowed to say that yet.
Okay.
So I said, I actually work with a brokerage. I can definitely help you out with finding somebody and whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then I got my actual license at the brokerage the following Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, I had this conversation on Friday.
That's amazing.
Then, yeah, it was probably the easiest first job I could ever get, you know.
I feel like that's a really smart pipeline too that you've like set up where, she started with like estate liquidation, and then obviously they're liquidating the estate, so they're going to want to sell at some point. So that's a really smart, business model that you've got set up.
Yeah, that's actually how I got my real estate job. That's how I got placed.
What do they mostly do with the liquidation? Is it just because like they got too much stuff and they're still going to live there, or is it always because they're going to be moving?
Some of the ones that I've done, there are usually like they have to go to assisted living, so they can't bring all their stuff.
Okay.
Or they have memory care, which is the same idea, or they're just moving across the country to be closer to their family, and instead of having their own house, they're moving into like their son's extra room, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they got too much stuff to move.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you?
Espen, walk me through your first retail deal.
Yeah. So technically I've not closed on my own yet because I've been in a team coordinator role for like the past 3 years now.
Okay.
And I could dive into how I got that, but I will say like I am working on some deals right now, and commercial does drag on for a while, especially in retail. Retail is considered the most complex asset class in many ways. So you have industrial, you have office, even land is considered commercial, multifamily over 4 units. So, but retail gets confusing because there's just, you got to really look around you, and where like one deal I'm working on, like there's a whole bunch of restrictive covenants because you can't have the same use too close to it. And that one franchisee, which I won't name, but they basically said, yeah, you're a little too close, and if you want us to remove that restricted covenant, your client has to pay a lot higher sale price. So there's a lot that goes into that. And retail, there's just a lot, even restrictive uses, if it's like liquor, beer, tobacco, that sort of stuff. Smoke shops, which are pretty common in retail. Those have to be, they can't be too close to a school or a church. We need to call the city and go through that whole process. So there's a lot of due diligence that's needed. So that's why deals drag on for a while. And I will say, if you do go into commercial real estate, you have to join a team at this point, because going on your own, gaining the trust of these clients is tough, because we're basically day one, like you're mentioning, like you kind of just winging it, like day one you're the advisor. So if I were hiring commercial broker, I would be like, I want you to know your stuff, and it will take you have to be patient. It takes years. Even my boss said it took him like 6 to 10 years before he really knew what he was talking about. So it takes a while, especially going to the investment sales part, which is a whole another thing. So commercial has many layers to it. It's very complicated, but yeah, so hopefully I will be closing soon. You know, there's a whole due diligence period and all that. But as I become full time now that I've just graduated UNLV, yes, then I can finally start pursuing things on my own and kind of eventually graduate team coordinator role and find my replacement. But getting into commercial real estate is very intimidating.
Really?
So
Why
yeah,
is that?
I'll get into that. So basically, my first year of college, I went to UNR, right? I loved it there. I have so many friends there and mentors. The reason why I came to Vegas, because I just love Vegas so much, and I discovered the real estate program. And I started learning more about, okay, commercial real estate. I didn't even know that was an option. Most people don't when they think about real estate. They think about homes. But then I said, okay, commercial real estate, maybe this will help me get into development one day. So I entered here, and shout out to the UNLV Lead Center for Real Estate. They're amazing real estate program, and so many opportunities there. And, you know, start taking classes and, you know, networking. And even before the first day of classes, I messaged some people on LinkedIn and basically said, hey, let's get coffee. I'm new to Vegas. I don't know anyone here, you know. All my family, you know, they're all spread out. You know, there's no one in actually the city of Las Vegas. So got coffee, and long story short, basically got lunch with, I basically invited myself to lunch to this managing director of a,
That's what
of
you
a
gotta
firm.
do.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, you know, do you guys have anything open? And that's kind of how it happens. You don't just go apply on Indeed or anything,
Right.
get into commercial real estate. You know, you have to kind of know people, which, you know, is this fortunate, unfortunate thing, you know, so you really have to be great at networking. So that's how I basically landed, you know, my first team coordinator role, and now I'm at MDL Group, and amazing team, I love them. And through that, you know, I kind of, before you even become a full-time broker and start advising clients on your own or as a team, kind of have to have that like analyst experience that I've gotten, you know, like 3 years now. Now I kind of start to feel comfortable. Okay, now I can talk to my clients and tell them, hey, here's the best practices, and kind of advise them. So there's a long lead up before in commercial you really start doing your own deals, and I respect people that do it on their own right away, because that's a hustle. Especially nowadays, especially in Las Vegas, it's actually pretty small. Like
Vegas
everyone
is
knows.
a small town. Everybody knows everyone else.
right.
It's
Everyone knows
just
her.
how it is. And Vegas is still very much built on relationships. You can't just walk into a room and expect to get everything handed to you just
Right.
because you have the correct qualifications. Like, you need to have that relationship, which is really funny because you're young, you're a Gen Z, and for me, hearing that a Gen Zer was like out there, you know, not behind a screen and just literally putting himself out there, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I like how you mentioned that, because we were on a Las Vegas AMA, American Market Association panel, and it was
Right.
Gen Z and millennials consumer behavior. But you just got to put yourself out there, you know, no matter what generation
Yeah,
you're in,
that's
you
right.
can succeed in real estate.
Yeah,
right.
speaking of, you were the former president of the AMA. Former? Not yet.
I mean,
Former
it
in
kind
2
of, I
days.
graduate, so I guess
Okay.
we'll just say it ends in 2 days.
Yeah, former.
Former president of the Las Vegas or UNLV chapter of AMA, which is the American Marketing Association. For those of you who don't know,
Yes.
you got to look at that one. But do you have any marketing advice for like brand new agents trying to get themselves out there? Maybe for Julia, and just kind of like giving any tips on how to effectively market yourself, not just like with your relationships, but online.
Yeah, so the American Marketing Association at UNLV, we actually won top chapter of the year, so that was a huge
Nice.
accomplishment we finally did. But yeah, I did actually, that was same as that scenario where I messaged their president at the time on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, can I join your club? I mean, this was like July before I even took a class at UNLV. And she was like, yeah, why don't you join the board? So I applied to join the board, and bam, I became VP of Professional Development, did that for 2 years, built out a mentorship program. So really, like, honestly, I felt like I got a minors in marketing and even leadership and relationship building, because when you're in that type of situation, like especially in leadership, like it translates so much to even real estate, because you're kind of leadership in real estate. You're kind of the CEO of your own company,
Yeah.
Right.
and if you're in
100%.
teams like I'm on.
Right.
Like you're basically on a whole team. You have like the senior broker who's kind of the CEO, and everyone has their own roles and what they do. But in terms of marketing, like I would say the biggest thing is, especially nowadays, you have AI. AI is obviously that's taken a hit to everyone, and
Right.
especially white collar jobs. Even I'm worried. I'm like, what do I do? How do you evolve, and how do you advance, and how do you continue being relevant? all about personal branding. That is so important nowadays. And obviously, you do an amazing job with that with your digital agency.
Thank you.
But having a personal brand, like I can confidently say I can walk around, town, and a lot of people I recognize, and they know, okay, Espen, this guy, he loves Las Vegas because I do tours of the Strip in downtown.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I build my brand around, okay, I love Las Vegas. I'm very passionate about real estate development and casinos and that sort of stuff. So I would say like just having a personal brand, something that you could attach to and people remember you for, because people just forget your name. Especially if you have a unique name like Espen, like people that kind of stick. So having a personal brand, even having like your own podcast or something like that, like very few people are doing that commercial. And
Right.
residential, I will say they brand themselves way better. And like they have a great presence and people know them, but commercial people are still, it's a little more archaic, I would say, and it's evolving. But yeah, I would say one thing I've learned definitely during my time in AMA is just you have to have a personal brand, and if you can't vouch for yourself and if people can't vouch for you, then you kind of have nothing, honestly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, everybody has the tools to become their own, influencers and their own personal brands, right? So there's this wealth of knowledge and resources that, you guys have at your disposal. So, a lot of small businesses come to our agency too, and they're like, we don't know what to do. I'm like, sometimes they're a little bit on the lower end of, our scale of retainers. So we end up giving them all these resources. Hey, get this, and this, and fix that. And then once you're at this point, then we'll talk, With that said, what's something that you guys have been like spending time and money on that you feel isn't actually worth it in your business?
Great question. I'd probably say one thing that's always a challenge is figuring out, you got to look at KPIs, like how much you're spending, what's the return on investment, what's your numbers after a certain amount of times and weeks. So since real estate's such a long process, it could be, I feel like mailers is one thing that I'm starting to get into that
We talked about that.
yeah,
the other day.
I just don't know. It's like you could spend 6 months on something and then finally land a listing and then stop because you're like, okay, I spent, $400 a month and turned $2,400 and I got a listing. Yes, I made the money back, but it may not be worth it. So it's a challenge. You don't know what is working and what's not until enough time has passed. But obviously in order for your net to reach a certain amount of people, you got to spend more money. So it's like cost versus time. What's it going to be?
Yeah, and it's tricky too. I mean, with residential real estate professionals, it's hard to grow outside of organic social. So you almost have to be like that viral brand. Like, have you guys seen that one guy who like makes an emo song for every listing?
No, I haven't seen him. No. I've seen a guy who raps, but not emo.
He's I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah,
Oh my
all
gosh,
right.
I need to see this
They
so
have
bad.
like this guy like writes a whole song and then he makes, it's about the listing and it's like very emo coded and he'll be there with the bangs and everything. He's got this whole persona. And it's almost like it's so hard for me because I have had some real estate friends come to me and be like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm like, apart from going viral, I have no idea because you're running ads. It might not hit the right people. You don't know where they are in their buying stage. There's no way for you to actually see that. You could be wasting money on paid media on Meta and Google and all this stuff. You could put up a website, but then like, how are you getting traffic to it, right? So like Espen said, a lot of it is relationship building, but you can only do so much of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I would burn out. See, this is why I didn't go this route because I was like looking at it and I was, oh my God, realistically, I am not that much of a people person. My social battery dies like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys sustain.
I don't believe you, but
Right. You got to know people to sell. You know what I mean?
What's something that you're spending on currently that you like are not?
I haven't really spent anything that like I regret or
Okay.
like that I am like kind of like should I really do that? Because I really, because of like my recent experiences, like I have been pushed to like financial hardship. So I think I have learned to really discern whether something is worth the money or time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that I didn't even realize how important time was.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When-
It's the only
yeah.
currency you can't get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
true.
literally. So it's like if it's going to help me save time, then yes, it's worth it, but like also what can I be doing in that time that I saved? Like things like that. Like I think I've been better at discerning that lately. So I have yet to make a regretful purchase in regards to the business, you know?
Have you like had anything in like the commercial space where you had to spend on mailers or business cards or like any kind of like collateral that you had to get or that you're like 1000% would not do again?
Well, luckily my company covers like business
Okay,
cards,
good.
marketing materials, brochures and such.
Right.
But I want to like obviously like the listing platforms, like those get very expensive, and luckily mostly the brokerage pays for that. But like additional things like AI softwares that kind of help you with analysis and site selection, which is very important in retail. Those can be like 20, 30,000 a year.
Dang.
So obviously I've not paid for that yet.
A
Dang.
year.
Yeah,
There's
so-
actual
500 a
like
month.
AI
That's more than minimum
agentic
wage.
platforms that
Not
do that?
agentic. It's
Okay.
just a software. It's
It's
like
just
a SaaS.
software. It's
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
agentic. Like it doesn't even do, and it's that. Wow, I'm in the wrong
Jeez.
business.
Data
guys.
is
wrong business.
Yeah.
Data's worth a lot of
Make a
money.
platform.
Yeah.
We all need to get together
Right.
and make a platform.
Really data platform.
But data is worth a lot of money, especially in commercial, because like even like foot traffic and where people are coming from when they go to a shopping center, what other businesses are they visiting? Like tenant mix is very important. So those sorts of things are like, that if you want to get that data, it can be intuitive. You can be like, oh yeah, I kind of feel like this shopping center has this vibe or something. But if you want the data, it gets very pricey. But I did want to go into like the time thing, because I would say time obviously right now as newer brokers, like I would say time is, we got to be very intentional with it. Time's your most valuable asset. And regarding that, like a great way to kind of work on that is to audit your time every week. Like, all right, kind of like maybe write down, okay, I'm doing like prospecting these hours and lead gen and doing tours, you know? So kind of like going through like your daily and weekly routine and kind of like looking back on it, because you'd be surprised. Like even I've been surprised. I'm like, wow, I spent way too much time going through my emails and responding. You know, I think that's a big time sucker right there. So just kind of figuring out, okay, how can I be more efficient and eventually delegating once we can afford to have our own assistants.
Right.
That's a huge thing nowadays. But that's something I would like to splurge on one day, but I
An
haven't
assistant.
yet.
Do you feel like Vegas real estate professionals hustle harder than other markets, or? Because I've have some friends from LA and San Diego and
Yeah.
you know who are real estate professionals, and I'm like, you guys are way too chill.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I think it also depends on the price point of the houses. Like if they sell one house, say in California, I don't know what the median price point is, probably around $1 million. So you sell one house for $1 million and say they make 3%, it's 30,000. You sell 5 of them a year, 150K, versus in Vegas, a median price point, say 450. You're making less. So it's a potential maybe if the houses are worth less, you have to grind more to make more money, versus someone in a different market where they make more money because the median price is cheaper. They may be more chill, and also maybe just lifestyle and what company you're with. I think there's a lot that goes into it. But to answer your question, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know any other agents in different states.
I just feel like Vegas like just hustles even harder than
Yeah.
most other places
Yeah.
for any
Yeah.
industry, really.
I honestly believe that, and I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that you're not taxed on your effort in Vegas
Yeah.
versus being in California. Like,
True.
you get income tax.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like here, it's like you hit the ceiling, you don't get punished as badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like you're more invited
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
like
to make more.
grind.
to grind.
Yeah.
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 Good point.
No, that's right. That's a good
Right?
point.
And also there are a lot of more like restrictions in real estate in particular, especially in California. Like agents don't get paid for rentals, I think, in California.
I did not
Dang.
know that.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, we don't make a lot either.
Yeah.
We don't make a lot, but
Yeah,
at least we
it's
make something.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
How do you market yourself out of state to find people out of state? Or is,
I
is
think-
that literally just a relationship thing?
Probably a relationship. There's different ways. Like you can definitely cast out ads in different areas of town. Like if you're in a, say, certain niche market, of course, let's just say luxury, maybe focusing on, if you're doing really well in Las Vegas, maybe focusing on different neighborhoods and spending ads in a certain neighborhood that has a high turnover to moving to different states as one. But then also, I mean, social media, you're going to reach anyone and anyone everywhere. So I think just like Espen's saying, is just building a brand of yourself. People will find you regardless of what state you're in, and they'll know, you know, if I go to Vegas, I'm going to call Espen, or I'm going to go call Aaron. because I know that they sell here and they post content and I see what they're doing and I see that they're active and they have a personal brand.
That's great. So what's something about the financial side that you thought you knew but didn't actually know when you went into real estate?
Well, I would say, I mean, there's both sides of that, for like the personal finance side, and then you have the finances of making deals happen. And like, I did not know real estate could even be this like financially driven, you know, because you look into, if you go into commercial, like these are income producing properties. So this is another investment. You got to compare it to the U.S. Treasury and kind of keep track of that. Because why would you invest in real estate? Okay, maybe you get it. And there's cap rates and there's IRRs, and I could say a million different acronyms. It's like, it's a good thing I got a finance minor and a real estate degree, you know, because like these things are like, oh, it's definitely different, you know. So I would say in that regards, like finance, like financial analysis is so important to even like day-to-day job. But in terms of more like the personal finances, it's like, yeah, you got to like have a little bit on the side after every commission to like pay for taxes, you know, because that's one thing.
Yeah.
And even like you can go months
Because
with.
we're all ICs.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
See,
Yeah.
this is another reason why I said
Save
I
your
couldn't make
money.
it.
Save your money.
Save your money.
Yeah.
But you can go months and months. You could even go a year without a check, especially
Yeah.
like during the financial crisis. There's so many people I know that are successful nowadays, but like they went like years without a paycheck, and they had to go to different jobs and bartend on the side. You hear lots of those stories, especially when you first start out. Luckily, I'm like team coordinator, so I'm able to support myself there. But if you start out, like you can expect to go like 3, 6, 9 months without even getting
Yeah.
your first commission, because like getting your first, like if you're doing tenant rep, well, you got to like align with the business, make sure okay they're ready to open and find their space. Landlord rep is kind of like, I call that like the MBA of commercial real estate. That's when you start representing shopping centers and different investors. And then investment sales is like the PhD, where like that gets very complicated. So it's kind of it takes a while to grow into those roles. But I would definitely say like budget and maybe have a side job, you know, or save up for a year, because it could go a long time
Yeah.
without a paycheck.
Yeah, my team lead, he always says, do not go into real estate if you're broke. You can go if you don't have a lot of money, but don't go if you're broke.
Which is tough as a college student, you know?
It's tough, yeah.
But it also lights a fire under you where like you're pressured to succeed. You have no choice but to succeed. It's like starting your own business. You're like, okay, well, you know, like if you start your own business, you like, I know your story, you know, you were in corporate. So when you start your own business, you're like, okay, well, kind of had no choice but to succeed.
Yeah. You put your back against the wall and you're like, well, you don't
Figure it
have
out.
any other
Yeah.
reason or any other way out of this except to
Figure it out.
succeed and
Yeah.
figure it out.
I think
Yeah.
what
100%.
Espen said too is it's like a double-edged sword, especially in Las Vegas. The beauty of if you're not doing well, you can go bartend or go work on the strip or something of that sort. But also too, the flip side of that is that everyone knows that if someone is a bartender, they're like, oh yeah, I also sell real estate on the side. It's like, of course you do. Everybody in Vegas does. So it's good that you can still lean on that being in Vegas to have income in the, say, nightlife, I guess, alcohol space, being a bartender.
Yeah. F&B, yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing, and definitely save your money. Taxes, they're going to get you. So to being a new agent, on your point too of what something you learned, like the financial side of it is save your money for one, find a good CPA, and don't get a check and think, yeah, I made this amount of money, I'm just going to go spend it. No,
No.
there's so much that goes into it. You got to market yourself again, figuring out how much you're going to save for taxes, and also too, you've got to upgrade yourself, whether it's going to be your website or maybe a new suit because you're doing things and meeting with clients, or new business cards. Like there's so many business expenses you don't think about. It's not just I'm going to get a check and then I'm going to go blow it on something.
Yeah, a lot of people that I know, aside from you, apart from you guys, who are in real estate, they operate exactly like, you know, small business owners, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
everything is like, you know, they're your own little business, your own small business, and that's, I think we don't give enough credit to real estate professionals in that manner.
Yeah.
We really don't.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. Speaking of real estate professionals in the market, we've already talked about Sirhan, but is there anyone else in this market in Vegas that you guys are studying?
There's a big luxury realtor that I look up to quite a bit as far as what he sells and kind of how he conducts himself, which is Ivan Schur. And definitely his aspect from meeting him and talking to him, he's just very calm and relaxed. And I think that in sales, everyone knows kind of like a used car salesman. Like nobody wants to talk to them. They're like, you're in sales, of course you want to sell me something. But I think just being very calm, knowing the market, being a knowledgeable person, that's something that I kind of take from him when I spoke to him a few times. It just, you want to be someone they can lean on, but also be a good friend, not just I'm going to sell you something and then never talk to you again.
Right.
So I think relationship building is important too, and I've learned that as well.
Julia, is there anyone that you're looking up to currently and studying in the market?
Well, I was lucky enough to have great like mentors on my team. Like, my mentors are Eric and Sandy Hakens. They're amazing. Like, they are the nicest people, and they've really like built their relationships with people all over Vegas, and just learning from them and watching like how they've come up from, like Eric was talking about how he literally came from the super sales side where it's like when I get my check I'm done, and then he changed everything because he realized like it's like a bottomless pit of trying to fill yourself with like money versus filling yourself with like I helped this person, I was able to do this thing, and like just following like that path of like giving more than you receive in payment. I think that's like huge, because if like being genuine and like wanting to do something for somebody out of the kindness of your heart versus trying to get the money, like the money will come
Yeah.
if you just do things with a pure heart.
It's that karmic balance, right?
Exactly. And that's why I really look up to them, and I was so lucky to already have been with like great like leadership and like supportive people who like really believe in me, and like I want to be like them in the way that like it's really about the people. Like,
So takeaway from this, Julia got into it because she was lucky. No, she worked hard. She worked hard. She worked hard.
excuse me, I passed my test
That's
the
right.
first try.
That's
Okay,
right.
the first try.
That's pretty rare, actually. That's pretty rare.
It actually is.
That's pretty rare.
Like all the people I've talked to, my brokers, they're like, "You got it on your first try," and I was like,
Both tests.
"Both."
Wow,
of
no,
course,
yeah, that's rare.
Of course,
I did
Thank
not.
you.
Trust me, I did not. Did Espen, you passed the
I
first
don't want
try?
to admit it on the podcast, but no, I passed the national one on my first try, but the state one just gets you. So that was my second try. I
The
got
state
it.
one was horrible. I
Well,
was
you
so
passed,
scared.
you know? Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, but like the max number of mistakes you could make was 12. I marked 23. I was like, I'm going to fail.
Oh no.
And you figured it out.
but it all went well.
Good.
I was lucky.
Espen, who do you look up to in commercial?
Well, I'm lucky to have so many mentors. You know, going back to that, having like a little, I call it like a village. You know, you want to have a village of people that can support you, or even people who go out and get coffee or lunch like every quarter. I'm very proactive in that, where I reach out and be like, hey, you want to catch up and just chat, and you know, I learned so much from that. So I could list about, I don't know how many mentors I have, like over 30 or so.
Wow.
I'm very lucky to have that. But also talking about luck too is if you want to get lucky, you got to work hard to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you said that earlier, I'm like, yeah, luck is, you know, you got to create your own luck. And I was listening to a bunch of podcasts recently talking about luck, coincidentally.
Yeah.
But yeah, to create your own luck, especially in real estate, you got to get a little lucky here and there.
Yeah.
But if you don't like hustle and don't like go put yourself out there, if you just decide to stay home or just stay in the office in your cubicle and kind of just do nothing, you won't get lucky. But if you're out there, you will. But I've been lucky to get all those mentors because I go like obviously UNLV, that's a big way. There's so many people that are generous enough to donate their time to the students and mentor them. But even people I meet at events, and I've cold emailed many people too that kind of adopted me as mentors. Like, these people are cool.
Yeah.
But one person in particular, actually, that's like a broker I aspire to kind of be like, because he has such a great personal brand, is my CEO, Hayam Mizrahi. He actually has his own podcast, Takeaways. I listen to all the episodes. He interviews all the business people in town, even like kind of local celebrities too, and just like kind of what he does. I'm like, wow, that kind of got me interested in podcasts in the first place, actually. So I would say like there's so many people I look up to in this town. I mean, I'm a new agent, you know, so I kind of have to look up to everyone. But just kind of meeting with people and like growing your village, you know, people that support you. Those are the people I look up to.
I love that. He's not a real Gen Z. He's like
Yeah.
he's like a Gen X in a Gen Z body.
I do have an old
101.
soul.
He doesn't have a TV either.
Yeah. No TV in the house. That's kind of crazy.
It's an inside
I
joke.
like it. I like it.
You don't need
So
to.
now to the fun questions. What's the most delusional thing a client has asked you to do? I'm sure you guys have stories, but I mean, I have stories, but that's marketing. That's not real estate.
I think this is a main thing that other agents run into is like someone wants to they want to look at a high price point home, and then of course you have to have proof of funds or pre-approval, and they're like, yeah, just go show it to me and send a video. Can't do that. So I think just delusional is like you want me to go look at a house that's over $1 million and you don't have any financials. I don't know who you are, and you don't want to meet, and you want me to go look at a house for you. I just don't want to waste my time doing that. So I think just delusional is you gotta get real. And can you afford it? If not, I can't show it to you.
Right.
Yeah. My thing was like ridiculous. You guys are all gonna be like, what the hell? I recently had to fire a client for a different reason than what I'm about to say, but they did ask me to find them a house where their utilities would be included in their mortgage.
Oh wow, it's like a rental or something.
What?
In a way.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they asked me, they were like, find me a good deal and make sure that the utilities are included. And I
Doesn't
was
make any
like,
sense.
Where, not
That
even.
doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's very delusional, actually.
oh yeah,
That's
no,
very-
for real.
Yeah. You're just puzzled. You don't know what to say. Like,
Yeah, I was like, oh, utilities are actually they
They're
can be
separate, yeah.
included in rent sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you're purchasing the house, you're in charge of taking care of all of
Right,
those.
right.
Like you have to pay for all of those.
It's
like no one
separate.
else is going to pay for it.
right.
Yeah, but I ended up having to fire them for some like other racism things.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
yeah. We
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of that, I mean, have you guys? I'm sure your boundaries are pretty strong, you know, when it comes to hiring and firing clients. I mean,
Yeah, communication is key.
yeah.
If we're working together and you don't text or call me back, what are we doing? So my boundary definitely is communication. Communication is key to having a smooth transaction, understanding what you are looking for, what you're not looking for, something that may be bothering you, or so definitely as an agent, boundaries communication. If we're not talking and we don't know what's going on, I don't know how can I even help you.
That's true. Espen, anything with delusional asks from your clients?
Well,
I'm sure
luckily
there's a
nothing
few
too
commercial.
crazy, but
Okay.
I would say just setting expectations is the most important
huge,
thing you
yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
Because you can guide them the whole 90 yards, whatever, but if they don't want to, like, a lot of clients they'll nitpick on certain things, like for example, like square footage or just like concessions. I'm like, we're pretty much at the deal, you know. We negotiated this much, and you know, but those are things you got to set expectation. Like, here's what the market's bearing. If you don't like it, then maybe you're not open and ready to start your business, or you're not ready to invest in properties, you know. So you got to really set expectation. I'll say the most important thing to kind of avoid if they're being a little delusional, because they don't know a lot of these people. They're business owners or they're investors. They invest in other things, and they step into commercial real estate either to lease or to buy, and a lot of them, you know, they don't know. That's why they hire us. So that's why we have to be their advisors and kind of hold their hand a little bit and be like, hey, here's what the market is.
Any kind of stories on unhinged ways that you guys got your clients?
Yeah, I'll start. I was. So, I mean, I don't even know if I could say it on a podcast, but
Yeah.
I would go.
Pass it to me
I would go to a new construction, and obviously people there are looking for houses, but they don't have an agent typically most of the time. So I would just go around walking around and like, oh, how you guys like this house? And like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, what are you guys looking for? And it's like, I was putting myself in a position to talk to the clients before the clients were talking to the new sales agent. So I was just trying to, you know, scoop them in before they got too close to talking to the other people. And from that, though, I mean, I got definitely some communication with other clients and looked at some other stuff. But yeah, I was just over there walking around every new construction community, talk to anyone who was there and see what they're looking for, and hand out my cards and just try to get in front of them before somebody else would. Because I don't know if you guys know this watching this, but if you're going to new construction, the realtors that are there only represent the builder. They don't represent you. So it's important to have a realtor that represents you and knows exactly what you're looking for so that they can negotiate the deal versus the builder's agent only working for the builder. They'll write the deal for you and say they'll get you some concessions on stuff or money back or free things, but ultimately they represent the builder, not you. So I was trying to advocate for them and let them know, hey, I
It's
can.
fair game.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
can
have
be
a
a
captive
realtor.
audience.
Exactly.
It's right there.
Right. They're
That's
looking
beautiful.
for something. It's like I wouldn't say a fish in a barrel, but
Yeah.
kind of is. Like they're in the house looking. So I'm gonna see who's there and who needs a realtor. But yeah, that was probably the most unhinged way I was finding clients.
I love that.
That is hilarious.
When I first got my license, I was hungry. I had to figure something
You have
out.
to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to fill your plate.
Genius.
Exactly.
Any
What about you?
unhinged ways?
I don't have unhinged anything that I've already
not
done.
yet.
I got a plan though for this one
got a
client.
plan? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Share. Feel
Yeah.
free to share.
Her. Oh my God. Her daughter is a hairdresser. I'm down to bleach my hair platinum just to get that client.
wow.
Like, just to get that client.
So you dyed it?
No, not yet. I'm
not yet.
thinking about it. I'm considering it. I'm like,
I'm gonna find a hairstyle and I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
so I can get a client.
big ticket
There you go.
hairstyle, bigger ticket house maybe.
There you go.
I'm just
There you
kidding.
go.
I don't care about big ticket house.
Just the hair color, right?
Yeah, just the hair color. I'm ready for half of it to fall out if it means that
You got the deal.
I can get the deal.
That's commitment right there.
Yeah.
Do you have any fun unhinged ways? I mean, any plans to get clients?
Well, now I got to step up my plans.
Gotta get unhinged,
You
man.
gotta get unhinged. But I think the story here is just like putting your boots on the ground and just
Yeah.
going out and door knocking. Door knocking's still a thing,
Yeah.
especially here in Vegas. So I would pretty much say nothing yet. But I would like, and now I'm inspired by you guys on what you've done and your plans. So
Yeah. Let's go get a haircut.
Yeah.
get our hair bleached.
Yeah. Maybe you can go walk around some open for sale warehouses and be like, "Does anyone need a commercial realtor?" around here?"
It's just like, or we could just ask the hairdresser, be like, "Do you need another retail space?"
Right.
Oh my
There you go. There you go.
I could. I got you.
What's the lie you tell yourselves before a hard showing or a cold call? I cannot cold call. Like, that is the one thing.
Got you.
That's another thing that made me like not do it because
Yeah.
they handed me a list and they said, "Here you
Call
go,"
these, yeah.
and I said, I can't do that."
Big no. A lie I would tell myself. I don't know. It's a great question. Maybe just you got this. Just give yourself some motivation,
Yeah.
even though you may not get it.
Yeah.
But I think a lie is just give yourself, just pump yourself up with so
Yeah.
much motivation, even though you may not feel it. But
Yeah.
lie to yourself that you're going to get it. You're going to do it to
Yeah.
give you motivation to hopefully secure the deal or the listing or
Yeah.
the buyer or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Because for me now, I tell myself, well, if it takes 100 no's to get to that
Yes.
one, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like we'll go on these proposals and RFPs, and we'll send out as many as we can, and we'll reach out to however many businesses we need to get the one, the one yes. Like the 100 no's are fine. Like that's what I tell myself, but. Sometimes I do get a little bit, we didn't want that.
Yeah.
Like we spent so much time on that proposal, but then they'll come back, they'll come back. So, I don't know, anything you tell yourself?
I know what I'm doing, basically. Like, I always know that I have somebody to ask
Yeah.
if I actually don't know what I'm doing. So I always tell myself, like, you have a safety net, even
Yeah.
if I don't actually. And, like, honestly, what's the worst thing that could happen? I get sued. I'm not going to do anything to get sued.
Yeah.
Like, at most, probably, they're just going to be like, I don't want this anymore. Because who are they going to tell about me? Like, the other person's going to be like, oh, who is that? It's like, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God.
No, I would say kind of same thing. Like you gotta pump yourself up, but also just also having that safety net as well is very important. You know, if you're with a team, you know, you can kind of fake it till you make it in some ways, you know. So I would say I've really had to tell myself lies, kind of just say, yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking about, you know, and you got to fake it till you make it for like a couple of years until you actually know what you're talking about. Luckily, we have like AI, Google, we could just search up things really
What's
quick.
your favorite AI tool? We keep talking about, we keep referencing back to AI.
I want to know too.
Actually, now it used to be ChatGPT, but
Okay.
now I've really gone to Claude, and Claude has just been amazing for me. So, just kind of using those tools, and that's kind of been my assistant in some ways, you know.
That's good.
But you don't want to be overly reliant on AI because, like, especially I've been to so many panels and events where I hear people talking, like experts talking about AI and commercial real estate or business in general. And they say, yeah, AI, you know, maybe replace in 100 years or longer. But for right now, or at least for our lifetimes, our industries are just too people focused and too intricate and too complicated for it to like if I were an investor and invest in properties, I wouldn't want to just use some AI tool. You know,
Not want
if I was a
that.
business looking to get open up and find a new space, I want a local expert that knows the area. You know, same thing with homes as well.
Yeah, that's true. I was listening to a video on, I think the Oppenheim group in, I think it was Cernhant, talked about AI. And when you ask AI certain questions, depending on how you word the question, it's going to lean towards the answer that your question is also leaning towards. So my point is using AI, the way you word something is going to give you the answer. So if you need like an expert in a commercial space, or you need an expert in residential, you need to understand everything, not just an opinion-based answer because you want to use AI.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to people sell people things.
Yeah.
So AI is a great tool, but you definitely need a realtor or a commercial person or a professional in whatever business you're wanting to learn about to give you all the information to make a educated decision.
Right. And what we forget all the time is, I mean, I see it all the time in marketing, like people have replaced their marketing teams with AI. I'm like, first of all, AI slop. Second of all, AI is actually programmed to validate you. So again, like going back to that, whatever prompt you give it, it's going to validate you and it's going to make you delusional.
Yeah.
But last question before we wrap things up, what would make you quit real estate tomorrow?
Give me a lot of money.
What's a lot of money?
Quit. I don't know. Maybe if like I would quit real estate if maybe, I don't know. And that's a good question. Maybe if somebody told me like, hey, you know, you can quit real estate, but you're going to manage this, and maybe I can still have the same job, but just not sell real estate, but still maybe advocate for things or manage things or be the person that people lean on for information, but not have a license. I don't know.
So real estate is your passion.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I really enjoy helping people. I enjoy problem solving. I enjoy learning about it. And I mean, born and raised here, I know quite a bit about Las Vegas. So it's an interesting concept to make money off of being born in a certain area.
Yeah.
You know, and be the voice that people need to understand. You know, there's restaurants nearby, or there's certain schools are good, or there's certain things are in the area that you may like, or certain type of homes. Like just being the advocate that people need is it's fun. It's interesting. And going back to what Espen said too, of having a lot of mentors, that's also key to selling real estate. Is there's so many people that you can lean on for help, and yeah, I don't know really where I was going with it, but
You were going with it in a you'll never quit.
I won't quit. Yeah, I won't quit. It's fun to make connections and relationships, and that's where I was going, and having friendships and meeting people that Espen's in commercial, and he may never know when he may meet somebody else, and I'm in residential, and you know, we could still connect, and you guys too. You just don't know who you'll meet, and I like real estate because everyone needs a place to live, and there's so many people that you can meet in real estate field, so I fully enjoy it.
Anything would make you quit tomorrow?
The only thing that would make me quit real estate tomorrow is if I died today, probably.
I'm not gonna say that. Knock on wood, all right? We don't need you down here. We don't need you.
I said that's the only thing.
Yeah.
If like,
So you
'cause
love it.
I
Okay.
love it.
Good.
I
glad.
love the connections. I love helping people out, and like the people that you meet that are in real estate too. It's like a different breed of people. Like there's like one half are like the ones that think that they're the Delulu ones that think real estate is going to hand them the keys to like, I don't know, the whole city, the universe, who knows. And then the other half is just people who just genuinely like love what they do. And like they'll stick with it even through hard times and stuff, and not just fall out just because like, oh, I didn't get my paycheck. Like, and it's just like the drive of the people around you when you're in real estate is super inspiring, and like it makes you want to level yourself up more. So I would never want to leave the industry. I like being surrounded by people who just want to keep going, and it's like, dude, if I'm 90 and I can still drive my client to the next 3 houses, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Still do it.
I'll do it.
Oh, she found her dream job.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Good. Espen?
Well, I mean, my dream since I was like around 13 or so is to build a casino resort. You know, I just love. I know it's an
marketing
interesting
for that?
thing. That's why I love Vegas. When I saw Vegas, I drove by it for the first time. I was like, wow, I want to do something here. Even though it is development related, and I'll eventually become developer and like build spaces and buildings and resorts, whatever it is that make people say wow. And that's still related to real estate. And even if someone were to call me up right now and be like, oh, I want you to be the CEO of this casino right now, obviously I'd be like, oh, wow. But even then, I would still hesitate because real estate has this gravitation, like the gravitational pull to it. And like I still, even if I go into that casino business or whatever, like I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm missing out not being in real estate, you know, because I make those great connections, and like I've learned so much about business and finance I didn't think I would, and meeting all these people is just, it has a gravitational pull, and I could see myself doing it my whole career, even if I have those different aspirations, like way down the road. But I think real estate can lead me there. If not, maybe I'll just stick with it my whole career. You know, it's a tough business. You know, there's some days where I'm like, what did I get myself into? You know, I could have gone into consulting or something and got a big, nice paycheck, you know, but now I'm going into it. But I kind of like the risk of it, where like, you know, it's commissions, you know, and all these relationships, and it's just like, it's a very fun industry.
Yeah.
It changes. It never gets boring. I would say that's the best part of it. I would never leave real estate just because it evolves, and it's.
So moral of the story is we're all a room full of psychos who are insane
love their
and
jobs.
love the jobs, love the drive, love the grind. And that is it for today. So thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's fun.
It was a great time.
Our first podcast, right? Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah.
your second.
Your
Second, I mean,
Second.
it was the first one wasn't even a serious one. This is my first serious sit down
Love
podcast, ask questions, not just hey, let's just go shoot a video real quick. So it's been
so
fun. It's been good.
nice.
It's been an
Awesome.
honor.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
This was so great.
Okay. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay updated. So where can we find you guys?
You can find me on TikTok or Instagram, Aaron Price LV, Aaron, and then Price like the price is right. LV. That's it.
I am on Instagram at Julia Does Real Estate.
And I am on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. Espen Hild, ESPEN HILD. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We're done.
Woo! We did it.